Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect out here pushing this truth and sincerity. The water for what you do, we love you. We appreciate you through the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, and shalom to y'all. This your brother Dawud from the Great Millstone Camp in Atlanta. Lord willing to give you an edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls God. His name is Yahweh, meaning he is or he exists or he to be. Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His name is Yahweh Shai, meaning he is the Savior or he is the deliverer or he saves or he delivers. If you're watching this now and you're a so-called black, Native American, or Latino man or woman, then you are a Hebrew Israelite according to the Holy Bible. You will not find black, Native American, or Latino in the Bible, so you need to know who you are according to the Bible because of because those people, you so-called blacks, Native Americans, Latinos, you were granted the promises, all right, of the glory, the covenant, the kingdom, and salvation. Now, if you don't look like a so-called black, Native American, or Latino, but you feel like this is the truth and it resonates with your spirit, there's a possibility you could be a Hebrew Israelite and receive salvation as well. It does not matter what you look like. It does not matter what color your skin is. It only matters that your bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob had his name Jacob had his name changed to Israel. Israel in the Hebrew is Yasharallah, meaning he is the prince of the power. All right. Now here we are again, 2 Samuel. Now we're in chapter 20. We've gotten through the whole book of 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel almost, and this is why I'm doing this, right? Because we're going by chapter, and we're actually getting edification, but we're also just learning about the accounts. I remember the apostles always say, man, you can't read this book like a novel, and that's completely true. But they're talking about in the context of like certain prophecies and things like that. But when you read certain books like 1st and 2nd Samuel, it kind of almost goes through as a novel, in a sense, man, right? I'm not going against anything the apostles and elders say. What I'm trying to say is that some of these stories can be read as such. So that's what we're doing now as we learned about our forefathers. All right. So this book is not to be read as a novel. However, these stories that we're reading, right, which we can come back to for certain, there's key points within these stories when we read it like this, which is why I'm reading like this, because you can apply these key points to your life. The things that King David did, such as inquiring of the Lord first before he did anything. That's these things that you can apply to yourself in today's time, right? Being punished for committing adultery with Bathsheba, right? So that's something, a wise man learns from others' mistakes. King David being a righteous man, still he in the flesh. He went off. Now it's for prophecy's sake anyways, but that's something we learn not to do, right? Or, look what he did. He took the life of, speaking about the Lord, he took the life of King David's firstborn to that woman in particular. And he even twofold, right, doubled down and King David took the life of Uriah the Hittite. That was Bathsheba's husband. It's like, damn, you try to, you kind of shed a tear for Uriah. It's like, damn, not only did this man take his woman, but he killed him too. But he got punished for that, man. But we apply these things to our lives because do we want that to happen to us? That was Dawud, King David, beloved. A man after the Lord's heart. Do we want shit like that to happen to us? Look, and that was his beloved, right? He spared him, right? He spared it. He took the firstborn to that woman and hit that child's life, but he spared King David, man. So it's like, how much more us? If you mess around, you might, try to holler at a chick, and she's like, oh, I got a dude, and you're like, oh, bros ain't gonna be like, oh, that ain't, I don't know him, like, but niggas in the world do that shit. So if you're watching this now, man, just don't do that, all right? Shit, bros got beautiful women in the camps, man. Like, my woman is beautiful. So, when I bring my woman around, and that's because we might, have like a family, whatever thing going on that's, bros might anoint each other's, families and whatnot. Ain't no bros looking at your girl, and you shouldn't be looking at other bros' girls. You know what I'm saying? No, bros, them women are not even there. Like, them women go off in another room and be in a, you know what I'm saying? And it might be a little, taking care of the kids together. All the women might get together and take care of the kids, or speaking about, hairstyles, or what kind of nail polish is is what doesn't have any chemicals in it, shit like that, holistic things they might be speaking about, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's their favorite time of the month or whatever. I'm rambling. Let me get to these scriptures. But yeah, man, you don't commit no adultery, man. That's a thing in Israel, man. That's one of the biggest commandments. You know what I'm saying? So we don't do that. You know. So 2 Samuel 20 verse 1. Now the subtitle reads Sheba's revolt. It says, and there happened to be there a man of Belial, whose name was Sheba, the son of Bichri. We're gonna get that real quick. Let's see how. Bichri. Belial. Yeah, Bichri.
Strong's H 1075.
Youthful.
Bechri. Bechri.
It means youthful, it looks like Benjamin. All right, so a Benjamite. And he blew a trumpet and said, we have no part in David, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to his tents, O Israel. So every man of Israel went up from after David and followed Sheba, the son of Bichri. But the men of Judah clave unto their king from Jordan even to Jerusalem. It says, and David came to his house at Jerusalem, which is Yerushalayim, right, in Hebrew, meaning city of peace. It says, and the king took the 10 women, his concubines, whom he had left to keep the house, and put them inward, and fed them, but went not in unto them. So they were shut up until the day of their death, living in widowhood. Yeah, because Absalom had defiled them, man. He defiled them. And that's, if you apply that today, these all of us have, for the most part, women that's been, defiled and touched by other men. And I don't know about bros watching this, but me, myself, man, I just get upset, not, to the point where, it affects me, but you're like, damn, like, I wish I was, the first one to be with you, man. It's like, like, demons start, like, damn, yeah, you wasn't the first one that was in that, bro. There's a couple other niggas that was in there before you, maybe even a few. You don't know all your, your ribs, past relationships. Neither should you even worry about it, but sometimes it just bothers you as a man. I'm not even saying to, like, worry about that or press her or ask her questions about it. Really, honestly, it's really none of your business. But, because you're a man, it bothers you. There's a prime example right here. Look how King David dealt with that. He said, man, look, of course he's gonna take care of them. That's his women, but they were defiled. What are they gonna do? They women. You know what I'm saying? They gonna, they probably would have been put to death if they would have screamed. But it's like they probably thinking, all right, well, King David's going. That's how women are, bro. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these women first of all, women are hypergamous by nature, right? So you really can't be mad at them when you see them, like, kind of looking off, and they might see a beautiful man. Now, if they staring at them, that's different. But we all see beautiful people and look at them, like, with awe. Like, damn, wow, that's a beautiful brother. That's a beautiful woman. If you're a man, you probably just think, wow, that's, the Lord blessed him. You know what I'm saying? Like, lucky him. Dude's 6'5" and, got all his hair. His hair is beautiful. His teeth, his eyes, everything about him. He's a beautiful man, But, obviously, you're a man, so you don't care for the image of a man. You just notice. You don't think women notice? So, don't be insecure about that, but she shouldn't be staring at him. That's the thing with these women, their eyes go off, wandering, Really, she should be looking straight. Honestly, she shouldn't even be noticing at him, because really she should just be on you. But, we're in a distracted society, like, women look around and stuff. They're not necessarily looking for a beautiful man to look at. It's just, damn, okay, I was looking in that direction. There he is. It's when these women stare at these men that's going to be extremely disrespectful and disregard your presence and these types of things. But the reason why I said all that because that's nature of people in general, and that's just wicked women and shit. But they're hypergamous by nature, but they're little delicate flowers, man. So Absalom came in and just wrecked shop. What was they gonna do? You know what I mean? What were they gonna do? So it says whom he had left to keep the house and put them inward and fed them. See, so he took care of them, but went not into them because he was probably disgusted. Like, damn, like y'all defiled now, right? It says so they were shut up until the day of their death, living in widowhood, which is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Especially during that time. Now, if you do that now, you're not gonna do that now, but now you're just gonna leave, or you tell her to leave, whatever it may be. But back then, that's not to make the whores out of the daughters of Israel. So you didn't let them go out and go date. You know what I'm saying? You just or remarry in that case at that time period. But he's just like that's how he dealt with them, and that's understandable. That's completely understandable because like I was making that distinction between then and now. Like we still are the same way. We don't want to know that you've been with other men before us, even though we know you have, because in today's society, that's known as being okay. If you're in your right mind, you think, yo, how is that? How do you think that's okay? Like, you know what I'm saying? That you've been with that many men. Lord willing, you don't get you a woman who's been with a bunch of men. I'm not saying bro's got that. It's just, it might be 3 men, and you might be like, how did you even get there? But a lot of these women today are in their 20s and 30s as in regards to the quantity of men that they slept with. And then you got some women who were just in triple digits, and it's just like, how did you even? You just got some weird demon on you. That's just crazy. Now you're just finished. You're just extremely shit. Past anything past like 10, you really just finished, honestly. But 10 even that's high. To a righteous man, 10 is high. 5 is like still high, but it's like, okay, 5 men, I can understand you in your 20s, 5 men, but damn, girl, you a hoe. 3, that's like kind of like, that's kind of we would say 3 is kind of manageable in terms of like not being like upset that your woman been with so many men, because 3 is like, all right, the first 2 must have been long-term boyfriends, or you know what I'm saying, it's the third one might have been a thing, whatever that she thought was gonna happen, but he kind of maybe played her or whatever, so she kind of just didn't mess with no dudes because she learned by experience, okay, like I'm just good messing with dudes until I find the right one, and there, and boom, here you come, and that's that's your woman. You might have been the 4th dude that she's been with her whole life, and she's in her 20s. That's rare. That is rare. So if you get one of those, man, you got yourself a good thing. So let's go on. It says, verse 4, then said the king to Amasa, assemble me the men of Judah within 3 days, and be thou here present. So Amasa went to assemble the men of Judah, but he tarried longer than the set time which he had appointed him. And David said to Abishai, now shall Sheba the son of Berchai do us more harm than did Absalom. Take thou thy Lord's servants and pursue after him, lest he get him fenced cities and escape us. And there went out after him Joab's men, and the Cherethites and the Pelethites, and all the mighty men. And they went out of Jerusalem to pursue after Sheba the son of Berchai. It says, when they were at the great stone, which is in Gibeon, Amasa went before them, and Joab's garment that he had put on was girded unto him, and upon it a girdle with a sword fastened upon his loins, and the sheath thereof. And as he went forth, it fell out. And Joab said to Amasa, art thou in health, my brother? And Joab took Amasa by the beard with the right hand to kiss him. Amasa murdered. But Amasa took no heed to the sword that was in Joab's hand, so he smote him therewith in the 5th rib, and shed out his bowels to the ground, and struck him not again, and he died. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, pursued after Sheba the son of Berchai, and one of Joab's men stood by him and said, he that favoreth Joab, and he that is for David, let him go after Joab. And Amasa wallowed in blood in the midst of the highway. And when the man saw that all the people stood still, he removed Amasa out of the highway into the field, and cast cloth upon him. When he saw that everyone that came by him stood still, it says revolt put down. It says when he was removed out of the highway, all the people went after Joab to pursue after Sheba the son of Bichri. And he went through all the tribes of Israel unto Abel, until Beth Maachah, and all the Berites, and they were gathered together and went also after him. And they came and besieged him, and Abel of Beth Maachah, and they cast up a bank against the city and stood in the trench. And all the people that were with Joab battered the wall to throw it down. Then cried a wise woman out of the city, Hear, hear, say, I pray you unto Joab, come near hither, that I may speak with thee. And when he was come near unto her, the woman said, Art thou Joab? And he answered, I am he. Then she said unto him, Hear the words of thy handmaid. And he answered, I do hear. Then she spake, saying, They were wont to speak in old times, saying, They shall surely ask counsel of Abel. And so they ended the matter. And I am one of them that are peaceable and faithful in Israel. Thou seekest to destroy a city and a mother in Israel. Why wilt thou swallow up the inheritance of the Lord? And Joab answered and said, Far be it from me that I shall swallow up or destroy. The matter is not so, but a man of Mount Ephraim, Sheba the son of Bichri by name, hath lifted up his hand against the king, even against David. Deliver him only, and I will depart from the city. And the woman said unto Joab, Behold, his head shall be thrown to thee over the wall. Then the woman went unto all the people in her wisdom, and they cut off the head of Sheba the son of Bichri, and cast it out to Joab. And he blew a trumpet, and they retired from the city, every man to his tent. And Joab returned to Jerusalem the king. Now Joab was over all the hosts of Israel, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada was over the Cherethites, and over the Pelethites, and Adoram was over the tribute, and Jehoshaphat the son of Elihu was a recorder, and Sheba was scribe, and Zadok and Abiathar were the priests, and Erah also the Jairite was chief ruler about David. We got I believe three more chapters. I might bust into those later. I'm just gonna